So Google's really not pissing about in 2024, are they? Not only have they launched their new Pixel 9 flagship phones 2 months earlier than usual, but now there's 3 regular Pixel 9s in addition to a bendy foldy bugger, meaning lots more work for your Uncle Spurt and lots more deliberation for you as well as you decide which pixely blower to actually stump up for. Well then, good news, because I've been thoroughly testing out this trio to see how they stack up for the camera tech, the battery life, the gaming prowess, all of the important bits. So here's my full Pixel 9 versus Pro XL comparison, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Alright, so side by side here we have the regular, bog standard vanilla Pixel 9 next to the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So the XL model is perhaps not entirely shockingly a bit bigger than its regular size siblings, 6.8 inches versus 6.3 for the regular Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro. You do have slightly skinnier bezels on all 3 of these handsets compared with the previous generation, especially noticeable down below. No big fat Jimmy Hill chin action anymore, although the selfie cam orifices do seem to have increased slightly in size. Thankfully, the Pro XL model is only 20 grams heavier than the other Pixel 9, so it's not too cumbersome to clutch. Although one-handed use isn't particularly great, even with a proper one-handed mode, you've got the old camera bump to act as a finger shelf. But it's just really ruddy, big, and the fact you've got those flat, almost iPhone-esque edges means it's not particularly comfortable to clutch. Definitely preferred a few more curves here and there. Whereas one-handed play with the other Pixels, absolutely effortless. And they feel pretty comfy, again, despite having those flattish edges. And they're all roughly the same thickness. You've got a metal frame on all 3 of them. Although on those Pro models, it is actually a glossy frame compared with the matte finish on the regular Pixel 9. And I certainly prefer the matte finish because the glossy, shiny frame on the Pixel 9 Pros just gets really greasy and smudgy and fingerprinty. And I swear, I myself am just regular levels of greasy. I'm no worse than the next tech nerd. Unfortunately, if you flip around back, the regular Pixel 9 does actually have a shiny, glossy arse. It's a bit of polished glass compared with the soft touch matte glass on the Pixel 9 Pro and Pixel 9 Pro XL. However, even that matte finish on the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pro XL tends to get quite smudgy and fingerprinty anyway, so I guess there's just no bloody winning. And all 3 Google blowers are now clad in Gorilla Glass Victus 2 front and back, whereas that was just limited to the Pro models in the previous generation. So they're all pleasingly scratch and shatter resistant. Still wouldn't recommend dropping them or anything because they're bloody expensive. And if you're paranoid, you can always chuck even more money at Google for one of their snazzy official cases. Yum. And all 3 are IP68 water and dust resistant, so you can drop them in a bath or a sink or a swimming pool even, just fish them out and towel them off and they should be alright. And they're available in a slightly different selection of colours. The Pros are available in this here obsidian finish, otherwise also porcelain, hazel and rose quartz. As for the regular Pixel 9, we'll swap out those final 2 options for this here rather stunning wintergreen option, otherwise you've also got peony, which I believe is a kind of pink. Top tip Google, maybe next time just call them black, white, green and pink, rather than fannying about. Now because Google decided to shoot its launch load early this year, that does mean we've still got old Android 14 on all 3 of these fresh new Pixel 9 blowers. But hey, no worries, Android 15 will be slapped on all 3 of these in an over-the-air update imminently. And then of course, no matter your choice, you've got 7 full years of Android OS updates and security patching to look forward to. Huzzah! From the cheapest to the most expensive, all 3 Pixel 9s have that fresh new ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, which can scan a proper 3D image of your thumbprint. It's super responsive, even if your mitts are a bit damp. And you got a bit of face unlock as backup with all 3 as well. And then once you're in there, it's the exact same Android experience on all 3 as you would imagine. So for instance, on all 3, you've got Google's new Smarty Pants AI assistant Gemini Advanced no less, which you get a year's free trial of with your new Pixel handset. You've also got the excellent and incredibly helpful Screenshots app. You've got that Pixel Studio app, which is a bit weird, frankly, though quite good if you've ever wondered what sexy Bambi would look like. And all the usual AI guff you would expect from a fresh new Google blower. And no, I'm not going to bang on about any of these bits in this video as well, because I've already done it in my full extensive Pixel 9 tips and tricks guide. So if you want to know more about the software side of things, definitely go check that out. However, those Pro phones do boast a couple of features missing from the regular Pixel 9, including that temperature sensor. Oh no, definitely a quality reason to upgrade there. And the vanilla Pixel 9 also misses out on the ultra wideband tech, which is quite good for opening keyless locks, stuff like that. So however much money you want to spaff at Google, you're going to get yourself a gorgeous Super Actua OLED display. The more you spend, the higher the resolution, although the Pro XL's visuals are ever so slightly less crisp than the regular Pros, because of course you've got that big old leap in screen size. And the Pro phones are technically slightly brighter than the regular Pixel 9, although honestly, stick them side by side, you will struggle to notice a difference, and the visibility is ideal outside, even when it's a super sunshiny day. Got HDR10 streaming support, crispy contrast, but the regular Pixel 9 isn't LTPO tech, somewhat surprisingly. That refresh rate only dips as low as 60 Hz, although it does max out at the same 120 Hz refresh rate as its Pro siblings. The other two are LTPO, so the likes of the always on display, etc. will burn less power. And you got a stereo speaker set up on all three, and boy howdy is it loud. Even the regular Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro can really spaff out that audio, so it can be clearly heard over any kind of background ruckus. And the quality almost as good as the Pro XL as well. And this trio almost identical when it comes to the performance, because they're all powered by Google and Samsung's Tensor G4 chipset. In the case of the regular vanilla Pixel 9, that is backed by 12 gigs of RAM, whereas that's boosted to 16 gigs on the Pros. And if you're a gamer who just likes to smash through the occasional bit of PUBG or Call of Duty or whatever, then any of these handsets will do you just fine. Although if you are into really demanding high intensity fare, stuff like Wuthering Waves, you might want to upgrade to the Pro model, because I found that it certainly struggled a bit more on the regular Pixel 9 compared with its more expensive siblings. Frame rate definitely a lot smoother on the medium default graphics settings, and if you bump them up to the higher graphics settings, even the Pro started to struggle because this game is not fully optimized. But you generally get a slightly smoother, more fluid frame rate on the Pros. Of course, all three of these phones start to heat up pretty rapidly, especially if you do boost those graphics settings all the way up. Thankfully not to the point where I saw any throttling or anything. None of these phones decided to just give up and shut down. But certainly after a full hour of Wuthering Waves action, my palms were starting to get pretty sweaty, even more sweaty than usual. And Google's gaming mode is pretty basic stuff as always, and unsurprisingly exactly the same on all three. And what about the battery tech? Well, you've got a 4700 mAh capacity cell on the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro, the two small ones. Whereas if you upgrade to that bigger XL model, well, you also get an upgrade in that battery capacity to 5060 mAh, very precise. But of course that XL model does also have the bigger display to power, so I found that the battery life pretty similar on all three of these handsets. And the good news is it'll easily be good enough for even the most demanding users to get all day play out of a single charge. Never once was I worried about that battery being drained before I was all tucked up with Teddy at night time. We're talking a proper full 8 or 9 hours of screen on time per charge, and that's even with a good bit of camera play, a bit of video chat action, plenty of video streaming, audio streaming, the works. However, the Pro XL does also charge faster than its smaller siblings despite having that bigger battery. That's because it's 37 watt wide charging versus 27 watt. So you'll get almost 3/4 of a full battery charge in about half an hour compared with just over half a charge. But of course it does still take over an hour to charge any of these morphos to full, and they're not exactly nippy. And yes, you got yourself some tasty Qi wireless charging support with all three as well. 15 watts versus 21 watts versus 23 watts. And slightly increasing depending on how much money you've spaffed at Google. So hey, why don't we round off this charming wee Pixel 9 series comparison with a squint at that there lovely camera tech. And no matter your choice, again, you got the same 50 megapixel Octa-PD primary sensor, and all three also have the same 48 megapixel ultra wide angle shooter, complete with a bit of autofocus if you fancy some macro shot action. However, you will notice if you want to zoom here on the regular Pixel 9, sadly you're out of lenses, there's no telephoto shooter, so if you do crop in up to 8 times in total, that's all digital zooming. Whereas the Pro pair also chuck in a 48 megapixel quad PD telephoto shooter with 5 times optical zoom. And you can actually zoom in a maximum of 30 times using the Pros. using a combination of that telephoto, zoom, and also some digital AI type sharpening shenanigans. And the actual camera UI experience, very similar on all three phones, although the Pro models do offer up some bonus features tucked away in, unsurprisingly, the Pro tab, so you can shoot high-res 50 megapixel images. You can also capture raw images if you want to edit on the fly and manually select the lenses rather than have the Pixel automatically switch between them. But of course, the best thing about these Pixel phones is being able to just point and shoot, and you're pretty much guaranteed a good, slick-looking, natural photo. And unsurprisingly, the results basically identical with the Pixel 9, the Pro and the Pro XL when you're just shooting away with that primary sensor. HDR situations well handled, low light situations not a problem either unless your subject's moving, in which case you might get a bulky snap. Occasional bit of lens flaring to contend with, but overall great stuff. As the same with the ultra wide angle shooter as well, no difference between the three. Again, this is very capable even when there's strong light and strong contrast, something a bit tricky for it to deal with. But of course, when it comes to the zoom shots, the Pros are just head and shoulders above the regular Pixel 9. Absolutely ideal for getting a nice portrait shot of your pets, your kids, without sticking the camera right up in their mug. And things do start to get a little bit hazy, grainy towards the 30 times zoom level, but the AI sharpening, pretty impressive. And of course, you've got the same set of features on all of these as well, including the portrait mode and the fresh new Add Me mode, which can just insert you into a shot with others by merging two separate photos. As for the video type shenanigans, well, the regular Pixel 9 tops off at 4K resolution at 30 or 60 frames per second. However, on the Pro phones, you can actually technically capture 8K video, although this does require the video boost feature, which you do not get with the regular Pixel 9. Now, what Video Boost does is it uploads your footage to the cloud and then tinkers about with it to freshen it up, make things a little bit brighter, a bit less grainy. Especially helps out for those low light nighttime video clips. And then when it's done, you'll get a wee notification. You'll be able to download it from Google Photos. And as I say, this certainly makes a difference to your low light footage, which is a lot less grainy after it's been processed. So that's Video Boost available only on the Pro models. And besides that, the video results are very similar across all three Pixels. The audio pickup nice and clear while dampening down wind, noise and other nasty shenanigans in the background. Nice smooth stabilizations, overall great stuff for your home movies. And naturally, you've got the full photo editing suite on all three Pixel 9 phones, including the Magic Editor with its fresh new auto frame feature. This can expand the boundaries of your shot using AI to fill in the blanks, otherwise crop in a bit. But anyway, I've banged on about all these AI features in my full Pixel 9 tips and tricks guide, so definitely go check that out for more on Add Me, auto framing, screenshots, Gemini, etc, etc. And last up, if you take a lot of selfies, you might be tempted to upgrade to the Pros with their fresh new 42 megapixel selfie shooters, whereas it's an older, more basic 10.5 megapixel snapper here on the regular Pixel 9. All three of them can pull back a fair way, so pretty good for those group shots. Yeah, those Pro phones can capture a wee bit more detail. They cope slightly better when there's strong contrast involved, and those images are a little bit less grainy in lower light situations. Of course, you can shoot up to 4K resolution footage on the Pixel 9, the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it'll look perfectly fine. Audio pickup's nice and clear and everything's all good for your vlogging needs, but once again, the Pro and the Pro XL are certainly better if you're shooting out and about with maybe a bit of stronger light, some stronger contrast to deal with. And that right there, my lovelies, in the most succulent of nutshells is how the Pixel 9 stacks up against its more expensive brethren, the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, the Pixel 9 Pro XL review is live right now. I've also compared with the S24 Ultra, if you're interested in any of that. Done a full tips and tricks guide with all of the software type shenanigans on there, so definitely go check that out for all the AI guffery, if you're not absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. And full Pixel 9 Pro and Pixel 9 content also on its way, so don't want to miss all that? Well, please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Let us know which Pixel you think is best for you down below and why. And have yourselves a ruddy, excellent rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!